Around the world, the dream of explorers ever since man first learned to sail the sea. Down through the ages have come the famous names of world travel. Christopher Columbus, who discovered America. Ferdinand Magellan, whose historic expedition first circled the entire globe. Sir Francis Drake, first to carry the British flag around the earth. And Captain Cook, greatest explorer of all. Famous names indeed. Yet today, the best known name in world travel is not a man, but a ship. The Caronia. Sailing from New York on a bright, freezing day in mid-January, this graceful liner, often called the Green Goddess, is headed for adventure. This is John Bransby, inviting you to come aboard and see just a few of the highlights of the great world cruise. 33,000 miles of pleasure cruising. Our voyage of more than 100 days will take us to Trinidad and Brazil, across the South Atlantic to Tristan da Cunha and Africa, over the warm Indian Ocean to Zanzibar and the Seychelles, to India and Ceylon. We'll sail to Singapore, to Thailand and romantic Bali. We'll visit Manila and Hong Kong and Japan in cherry blossom time. We'll enjoy Hawaii, California, Mexico and Panama. 23 ports in 17 countries. Out in the open sea, our ship becomes a world apart. A smooth sailing luxury vacation resort headed for strange and faraway places. Largest ocean liner ever built especially for round-the-world cruising, the Caronia adds a new dimension both to traveling and to living. On one of the first evenings at sea, the captain's reception will be our introduction to the gaiety of cruise life. Here we meet the ship's master, his staff, our charming hostesses, and congenial traveling companions. Days at sea are filled with hours of relaxation, warm sun and fresh salt breezes. Forgotten are the rush and tensions of our modern everyday life. As we cross the equator, King Neptune rises from the sea to welcome us into the ancient order of the deep. While cameras are clicking, our captain is decorated by His Majesty, Neptunus Rex. Later in the great main lounge, all the rest of us receive beautiful souvenir diplomas. Beyond the equator, we visit Bahia, colonial capital of Brazil. Then on to Rio de Janeiro. Entering this famous harbor, we steam past towering Sugar Loaf. For 2 days, we'll live in our luxurious floating hotel while we see the sights of Rio. Visit the gay hotels and restaurants of world-renowned Copacabana Beach and take a thrilling sky ride to the top of Sugar Loaf. This seems like the top of the world, but by car you can drive even higher, right up to the towering peak of Corcovado, where a colossal statue of Christ the Redeemer gazes eternally down on this incomparable panorama. Here's a view no world traveler can ever forget. And when we set sail again at sunset, the huge statue dominates the skyline until Rio is lost to view behind Sugar Loaf. Each morning at sea, you wake refreshed and breakfast at leisure, in your stateroom or in one of the restaurants, enjoying the luxury and service traditional with Cunard liners for more than 100 years. As you get acquainted with this big floating resort, you'll find elevators serving every deck, and you'll discover all the facilities, services, and conveniences of any city anywhere in the world. Forward in the observation lounge, we always find congenial company. Travelers from all over the United States, Canada, Latin America, and Europe. As lunchtime draws near, the many kitchens are getting ready for the informal al fresco buffet luncheon to be served on deck, as well as for the full-course luncheons served in the restaurants. Before dinner, we may find our way to the Veranda Cafe, the Raleigh Room, the Smoking Room, or this intimate forward cocktail bar. Cocktail hour is a traditional interlude of genial companionship before dinner. The distinguished twin restaurants, the Sandringham and the Balmoral, feature international cuisine in a leisure and festive mood. There's fresh fish from every sea we sail, game birds and fowl, and the world's finest roasts of beef from the best herds of Scotland and America. Or maybe you'd like to order from the charcoal grill. Prime chops, fillets, or steak, done exactly as you like them, and all enhanced by the bouquet of vintage wines. Dessert may be crepe Suzette, or cherries Jubilee, or whatever your imagination may suggest. For the pastry chefs are busy with their magic until the last dessert is served. Yes, this is pleasant living in a happy ship. After dinner, there's always something special. Such gala balls as those for St. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Washington's birthday, and many more. There may be a fancy costume parade with all kinds of prizes, or a headdress parade where everyone makes his own chapeau. There's never an end to the fun for young and old. And now, by way of Tristan da Cunha, the Caronia heads for South Africa. Cape Town lies in a superb setting at the foot of Table Mountain. By swift aerial railway, it takes only moments to climb the 4,000-foot heights. From the top, we look down on a magnificent panorama of the mother city of South Africa. While the ship sails ahead, cruise members may take fascinating tours through this land of diamonds, big game, colorful tribes, and majestic scenery. Approaching Victoria Falls by air, you see at a glance how the Zambezi River is hurled over 420-foot cliffs. A colossal cataract twice as high and more than twice as wide as Niagara. From the river gorge, you can view and photograph all the tumultuous beauty of the world's greatest waterfall. It's an easy drive to Kruger Park, world's largest game preserve, where we live in comfortable rest camps. While the animals roam free, visitors are locked in from 7:15 in the evening till 5 in the morning. But at dawn we're out, and in our cars we're safe. The sun's first rays may reveal a herd of wildebeest, or some of the thousands of graceful impala. A skyscraper giraffe may casually look us over, or a dangerous black rhino charge across our path. Curious baboons and monkeys follow beside us, or even pose for our snapshots and movies. But the biggest thrill of all is when a great tawny lioness almost touches your car, or you have to share the road with the king of beasts himself. The tribesmen of Africa make exciting pictures too. They love to dress up and go into a dance. It's easy to see where rhythm was born. The Zulu's love of dress reaches its most spectacular in the rickshaw men of Durban, fast-growing resort metropolis on the Indian Ocean. Here, after as much as 10 days of optional tours ashore, we find our own luxurious round-the-world resort waiting to welcome us home. And how good it feels to be home once more. It doesn't take the ladies long to keep their appointments in the air-conditioned beauty salons, or for the men to relax in a comfortable barber's chair. Now we can dress as we please, get together with all our cruise friends, and enjoy once more the informal house party atmosphere of being home again at sea. And now we're going to see more islands rarely visited by ships on cruise. Zanzibar off the African coast and the Seychelles to the east. As we drop anchor at Zanzibar, the soft land breeze wafts the fragrance of spice. From Zanzibar comes almost all of the world's supply of cloves, and here we can see them grow. The familiar spice is the flower bud of the clove tree. Before the blossoms open, these tiny buds are picked and dried and shipped away to market. Driving through the narrow streets and colorful bazaars, we're reminded that Zanzibar was once the notorious world center of the slave trade. After a visit to the Seychelles, ahead lies India. At Bombay, we enter the harbor to be greeted by the gateway to India. Behind it, the famous Taj Mahal Hotel. Big, bustling Bombay will be the Caronia's home for an entire week, giving us time to travel in India, Pakistan, or Nepal. Many cruise members will take an additional week ashore, or even longer, rejoining the ship again at Colombo or at a later port. Wherever you go in India, you find the color and hubbub of crowded bazaars, the homes of craftsmen whose intricate arts have been handed down from time immemorial. You see on one hand the teeming life of present-day India's 400 million people. On the other hand, countless monuments to the wealth and glory of vanished empires. Among religious shrines, there's none like Benares on the Ganges River. Here sacred cattle roam unmolested among the throngs, and temple overshadows temple. But the river itself, the sacred Ganges, is the goal of every pilgrimage. Thousands of devout Hindus cleanse both body and soul in the purifying waters, according to their belief. Your most thrilling moment in India may be your first glimpse of the Taj Mahal. Perhaps as the first shafts of sunrise caress the dome and minarets. Hour by hour the vision changes, from rosy dawn and river mist to the brilliance of noon. So delicate its form, so perfect its symmetry, the great size of the Taj Mahal may completely escape you until you compare it with human beings walking like tiny ants around the base. Greatest memorial ever to honor a woman, 20,000 artisans worked for 20 years to complete it. The white marble seems to turn to gold as the sun sinks toward the west. But the unforgettable climax comes after the sun has set, and only the soft light of the moon illuminates the scene. Moonlight on the Taj Mahal. The same magic moon glow that ripples on the harbor at Bombay as our visit to India comes to an end. In Colombo, we find ourselves in one of the busiest ports of the East. To the ladies, Ceylon is famous for its precious gems. To tea drinkers, Ceylon means tea, for from here comes much of the world's supply. On your drive through the island, you'll meet some strange traffic companions. The elephant is Ceylon's animal of all work. Truck, tractor, and mobile power plant all in one. But like the rest of us who spend a busy day, Jumbo gets an occasional break. A break he relishes to the full. On to Singapore, crossroads of the East, and then to fabulous Bangkok in Thailand, which we used to call Siam, the storybook land of bygone ages. In the imperial palace and in fantastic temples like the great Wat Po, we wander in the midst of ancient oriental splendor almost beyond description. There's the Marble Temple, with its strange stone lions. There's the towering Temple of the Dawn, with its weird and colorful images. A fascinating boat trip takes us through the canals or klongs, covered with floating market boats that sell everything needed by the countless families who live almost in the water. Not until temples are silhouetted against the evening sky do we turn our boats downriver back to the Caronia. Another dream of every traveler is to visit someday that far-off island of Bali, and here that dream comes true. Driving through this tropic Indonesian island, we find ourselves in a land where life goes on much as it did centuries ago. A life of charm and simplicity, seldom found in the world today. Here are ancient temples, the scenes of colorful Oriental worship. Here, in all the beauty of their native setting, are the famous Balinese dancers. Here is a nation of craftsmen whose artistry is known around the world. Our shopping may include batiks, paintings of native weapons, elaborate ceremonial masks, and of course the carved heads for which Bali is famous. In the square at Padang Bay, colorful dancers, elaborately costumed, pose for your pictures. And it's hard to have to say goodbye to all the friendly folk of Bali as the green goddess carries us away again across the sea. These brilliant mornings in the tropics bring out the early birds for continental breakfast on the Lido deck. Forward of the funnel, the Ladies Keep Fit class takes full advantage of the sunshine and fresh sea air. Those who prefer games for exercise may have their choice. Shuffleboard's always a favorite. Deck tennis is another traditional shipboard sport that takes a little more speed and energy. But neither speed nor energy is needed for the favorite deck sport of all, sunbathing. And the reward is a healthy tan that your winter-bound friends at home would surely envy. Of course, afternoon tea is an old British tradition. You enjoy it at your chair anywhere on deck, in your stateroom, or in public rooms, including the big main lounge, with the pleasant music of an orchestra to entertain you. By way of the Philippine capital of Manila, our next great port is the strategic British Crown colony of Hong Kong, most famous free port trading center of the world, where you can shop for the bargains of a lifetime. Merchandise of every kind from all over the Occidental and the Oriental world. Your Hong Kong sightseeing will take you to the fishing village of Aberdeen, Scotch in name only. Our sampan water taxi is rowed by a Chinese mother and her daughter, each with a tiny baby on her back. This is the surging life of the Orient, where countless people are born, live, and die on the tiny sampans that scurry round the harbors and the great Chinese junks that sail out to the open sea. And now, climax of our Oriental visit, Japan, where our leisurely itinerary provides a full week in this island empire. On the pier, we are welcomed by beautiful dancing geishas, traditional hostesses of Japan. Our cruise brings us a time of snow-white cherry blossom and rose-pink plum blossom, when city and village streets are gay with color, and snow-crowned sacred Fujiyama looks down on the fresh spring countryside. Japanese flock to the temples, shrines, and parks. The deer park at Nara, the world-famous shrines of Nikko, and the great Daibutsu, the giant bronze Buddha of Kamakura, which has been worshipped here under the sun and moon for 700 years. It's hard to have to leave this ancient, colorful land. But as we sail away again, we take a lot of the Orient right along with us. Oriental night in the Caronia is a brilliant carnival of color from every land we've seen. Through the red torii in the prom deck square go characters from everywhere, even the Mikado and his charming empress. Young and old, everybody loves to make believe. And not until the ball is over do we say goodbye to the Orient and aloha Hawaii. This is Honolulu, American paradise of the Pacific. Swaying hulas, Diamond Head, the beach at Waikiki. 2 days in this lotus land of pleasure, and then, once more, the Caronia calls us home. It's Aloha Oi, traditional farewell to Hawaii. Before we pass Diamond Head, throw your leis into the sea, and you'll be sure to return. California, here we come. San Francisco, or Long Beach, Los Angeles, and Hollywood, depending on the Caronia's route for the year. From California, one may visit Mexico, Central America, and Panama, while the ship sails south to Acapulco, sun-drenched Riviera of southern Mexico. The harbor, which once sheltered treasure-filled galleons from Manila, today attracts the world with great resort hotels and daring divers in spectacular leaps from the cliffs. From Acapulco south, we'll have topside weather, balmy days ideal for parties on deck. An evening in Panama City will be our farewell to gay nightlife ashore. Then, early morning will find us headed through the Panama Canal. As we leave Cristobal, our golden hours are running low. But as we look back, we realize the scenes we've captured with our cameras are but a few scattered glimpses from our months of travel adventure. Months that have filled our hearts with 1,000 memories, from the golden sands of Trinidad to the mighty escarpments of Africa, from the tropic shores of far-off Bali to the rugged coast of Mexico. We'll remember islands, continents, and cities, from old Bahia to strategic Singapore, from the monuments of India to the shrines of Japan. We'll remember fascinating people, the Zulus of South Africa, the holy men of Benares, the hula dancers of Hawaii, the fishermen of Acapulco. 1,000 memories from everywhere, from rhinos and rainbows to sunset on the Taj Mahal and sunrise on the sea. And we'll never forget the comfort of our floating resort, always at hand in strange and foreign ports, symbol of a century of experience in seamanship and service.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
We're going to miss the ship's gay atmosphere, the carefree days on sunny decks, the informality of shipboard life, and all the happy cruising friends who filled our days with fun. We're going to miss the sight of the sea, curving from the prow of the Caronia, our home for more than 100 days. But as the Statue of Liberty welcomes our return to the skyline of New York, we know a homecoming thrill that must have been felt by explorers of old. For now, we too have been around the world.